it's the others' opinions. It's particularly the the grammar police. I feel like sometimes there's the time police where they're like,
Hmm.
um, if you wanted to, you'd be on time. Like, if it really mattered to you, you'd be on time. And you're like, well, I mean, yes, obviously, if I really wanted to, I would be on time. But the the level of effort you are putting into the times when you are really on time. Like when I was back in England last week for the Microsoft meetings, and I there was a train strike, and it was like I'd flown back from Cairo for this meeting, so it was just like this is this is the meeting upon all meetings. Like, this is not the one to miss. Taken months to get this meeting, and I left at 7:30 a.m. for a 12 meeting. Bearing in mind, I'm traveling from London to Reading and this train strike, so it's delayed. But still, I was 2 hours early. And I was in the cafe working for beforehand, and I just the entire time was like, it was a 15-minute taxi from the cafe to the head office, and I was thinking, I'm gonna miss this. I'm gonna miss this. I'm gonna be late. I'm gonna be late. I'm gonna be late. I'm gonna miss this. And I was honestly 5 minutes away from being late. I arrived at 5:02, despite the fact I was 2 hours early to Reading. I still then looked down and I was like, shit, I need to get a taxi. Like, I need to order the taxi, then I need to book, then I need to kind of wait for it to come, then I need to get there, then I need to find the building. And I was kind of like screeched in like 1 minute to go. And I just think it's the whole night before I was stressed about being there. The whole way on the way there, I was stressed about being there. But 20 minutes afterwards, I was kind of decompressing from the level of effort I put into to being on time. So yeah, I feel like the time police sometimes are quite similar to the grammar police. They're like, if you wanted to, you would. And I'm like, ugh, just that, yeah. I think that's my the others'
Yeah.
opinions. I think was a good point.
Yeah, the amount of time it goes into being on time is exhausting. Um, and it sucks because as individuals with dyslexia, there's no cure for it. There's no way to just make it go away. We can build systems, but those systems still cost effort and time and
Mm,
cause fatigue. So it's really frustrating because it's like a snake eating its own tail almost, right? In order to not be late, we have to create these systems which also kind of tax us, which means that we're not late, but we have, so it's just a circle that goes round and round and round. There's not really a way to solve it other than radical acceptance and then trying to create systems that minimize how much of a struggle it is. So
mm.
it's pretty annoying.
One of the things I often say to people that I want to kind of talk about here as well is I think one of the things that I'm starting to find really helpful in helping people create systems and help myself create systems is this expectation of failure. And it sounds kind of counterintuitive, but I think what always slips me up with dyslexia and ADHD is like this feeling of, oh, I just like I'll just be fine. Like I'll next time I'll definitely make sure I'm on time. And whereas now with say if I have a meeting and then an hour gap and then another meeting, I set an alarm 5 minutes before to remind me to go to the meeting. And then normally I'll set one minute before because the chances are in that 5 minutes I'll wander off, go to the loo, get distracted, whatever. And so when you build in an expectation of failure, you do that thing that we've talked about before, which is creating safety nets of how can I kind of make sure that if I know I'm going to fail, what else can I do? So I think that has been something that I've been really trying to cling to. Because in case you haven't gathered by the last couple of stories, there's a lot going on in the behind the scenes. It's very stressful at the moment. So I'm trying to I'm leaning on all my systems as much as possible right now.
Yeah, well, and nothing's ever going to be perfect, right? So that's that radical acceptance piece of just knowing that failure is inevitable. And then also, I think we don't talk about this as much as we probably should, but the comparative aspect of we see other people, and oftentimes the things that we like about those people are the things that we struggle with the most. So my partner, he is always on time, and it is something I admire in him. And I think I see it more with him because I personally struggle with it a lot. So I sit here and have this constant comparative narrative mentally of, well, I'm just never on time. Like, he's always the one on time, when really, like, he has just as many struggles as I do, right? We talk about imagination. I am the much more creative individual in our relationship and have imagination and can story tell like nobody's business. Whereas he would judge me for saying this, his storytelling leaves something to be imagined. So it's interesting that we see the strengths in others and not ourselves, and that comparative is constantly there grading on us. And you just have to let it go. Like, we're never going to be like everyone else, and everyone else is never going to be like us. I think that's part of the overall mission of dyslexia in adults, is to educate people that, like, we're different and it's cool.